Trump's lawsuit against judges backfires. Even his own appointee turns against him. Trump suing judges? Yes, it really happened. Donald Trump has been in legal battles before, but this one, it stunned even his own supporters. Instead of targeting immigrants, activists, or lawyers, Trump went after federal judges themselves. Not just one judge, not two. He tried to sue the entire federal bench in Maryland.
Why?
Because those judges granted immigrants a 2-day pause in deportations. Just 48 hours to file appeals. To Trump, that pause was an unforgivable act of defiance. So he sued them all. This wasn't just unusual, it was unprecedented. Presidents argue with courts all the time, but suing judges directly? That crosses into new and dangerous territory. Judge Cullen strikes back. Here's where the story takes a shocking turn. The lawsuit landed in the courtroom of Judge Thomas Cullen. And yes, Cullen was appointed by Trump himself. But instead of siding with the president, Cullen tore the lawsuit apart. He didn't just dismiss it, he called it dangerous for democracy. In his written opinion, Cullen described Trump's campaign against judges as unprecedented and unfortunate. He reminded the country that judges aren't politicians. They don't exist to serve presidents. They exist to serve the Constitution. Imagine that, a Trump appointee warning the nation that Trump's own tactics threaten the rule of law. Why this case collapsed immediately? Federal judges enjoy something called judicial immunity. It protects them from lawsuits over their rulings, even if those rulings anger presidents. So from the start, Trump's case had zero chance. If Trump didn't like the pause on deportations, he had normal legal options. He could have filed an emergency motion. He could have appealed. He could have taken it all the way to the Supreme Court. But suing judges for doing their jobs? That's a constitutional dead end. And Judge Cullen made sure everyone understood that. A pattern we've seen before. This wasn't Trump's first clash with the courts. Over and over again, his administration has issued executive orders later struck down as unconstitutional. And over again, Trump has responded by attacking judges. He calls them crooked. He calls them radical. He even insults judges he appointed. Each time, the message is the same. If a judge rules against Trump, they're the enemy. That pattern should alarm every American because the courts are supposed to be neutral referees, not punching bags for presidents. The bigger threat. Some might shrug this off as another Trump loss, but it's more than that. It shows how far Trump is willing to test the system. By suing judges directly, he wasn't just fighting over deportations. He was challenging the very independence of the judiciary. And here's the danger. If presidents can bully judges without consequences, the balance of power collapses. One branch of government cannot survive if another decides to erase its authority. The good news. The good news is this. Judges are starting to push back. Cullen's ruling wasn't just a dismissal. It was a warning shot. It showed that even judges who owe their seats to Trump won't allow him to dismantle judicial independence. That's a positive sign for immigrants and for democracy, because it means the courts, for now, are still willing to hold the line. And for families facing deportation, even a 2-day pause can mean the difference between removal and a fair hearing. The bad news. But the bad news is obvious. Trump isn't done. Even when he loses, he often finds a way to spin it as a win. For his base, lawsuits like this aren't about legal victories. They're about showing strength. They're about proving he's willing to fight, no matter the odds. That's why he doesn't mind losing in lower courts. He's playing a longer game, one aimed squarely at the Supreme Court. And while immigrants may win small pauses, the bigger battles are still ahead. The Supreme Court factor. Trump believes the Supreme Court is his ultimate shield. He knows cases can drag for months or years. And he knows he appointed 3 of the 9 justices. That's why losing in Maryland didn't bother him. What mattered was setting up another battle that could eventually climb its way to Washington. But here's the irony. Even conservative justices may realize that protecting Trump too much risks weakening their own power. At some point, even allies could see him as a liability. And if that moment comes, it could change everything about how Trump operates in office. Trump's strategy: delay and dominate. Legal experts say Trump's tactics aren't always about winning. They're about delaying deportation rulings he doesn't like, buying time, and projecting strength. Every lawsuit, every attack on judges reinforces his message: the system is rigged against him. And for his supporters, that narrative is powerful. It keeps them energized. It keeps them loyal. This is why even failed lawsuits matter. They aren't courtroom plays, they're political theater. Judges pushing back harder. But Cullen's decision shows that judges are done staying quiet. In the past, judicial opinions avoided direct criticism of presidents. Not anymore. Cullen called Trump's campaign against judges a smear effort. He reminded the country that the judiciary isn't an enemy of the presidency, it's a constitutional equal. That kind of language is rare. And it could mark the start of a judicial pushback that Trump didn't expect. If more judges follow Cullen's lead, Trump could find himself facing not just legal losses, but reputational defeats. Can Trump keep suing judges? The answer is simple: no. Judges can't be sued for rulings. Period. But the fact that Trump even tried is alarming. Because once one president breaks a norm, future presidents might follow. That's how dangerous precedents get set. If the next president learns from Trump's playbook, the independence of the courts could be at risk for years to come. Why voters matter most. At the end of the day, the courts can only go so far. They can block unconstitutional actions. They can strike down unlawful orders. But if a president keeps pushing boundaries, it's up to voters to decide whether that behavior continues. Every ruling like Cullen's is a reminder: democracy only survives if people defend it. Judges can write opinions, but voters write the future. Final thoughts. Trump's lawsuit against Maryland's judges wasn't just a stunt. It was a direct challenge to the foundation of the American legal system. And yet, in the biggest twist of all, it was his own appointee who shut it down. Judge Cullen's ruling proves one thing: judges still have the power to stop presidential overreach. But the fight isn't over. Trump will keep testing limits. The question is, will institutions and voters hold the line before it's too late? If you liked this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon for future updates. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.